Good morning, anybody that might be out there. I hope people got the word out.
Can't take your call.
Yeah, my wife didn't get the message apparently. Good morning. I can't tell if I just got here or if I've actually been alive for a couple of minutes. But anyway, if anybody's out there, good morning. Francisco, good morning, sir. If I gave out prizes or awards, you'd be the first one to hear. You'd get the blue ribbon. It's other people give out gold medals and other such things. Well, virtual gold medals. I think I'm talking to myself today. I'm afraid people didn't get the message. They may think I wasn't going to be on because I forgot to create my thumbnail and schedule my show. I've had it ready for. I worked on it last night. I started on it earlier in the week, actually last week. I put some of it together and I almost forgot to schedule it. So hopefully a few people figure it out and show up. I do realize that it's the beginning of probably of a holiday week for some people. I don't know. I wonder how they'll do that this year. People have, I mean, it doesn't start till next week. I mean, it's next Saturday. I wonder how people will schedule vacations. What will be the 4th of July vacation week? Maybe both weeks. I bet it is. I bet some people will be off this week and some people will take off next week, and it'll just be a big thing. I don't know for sure. I'm going to be here next week. I'll talk about this when there's actually people here. Since right now I'm just talking to myself, but I plan to be here next week, and if with any luck, I'll have a special guest, and I'm looking forward to that. And we'll probably just be doing a chillax kind of day. Let me talk about what people do on the 4th of July, what they like to do, what they've done in the past. Since this is a special 4th of July, I think I'm going to reminisce back a little bit to the bicentennial 4th of July, which was, I thought, incredibly special. There were so many good things going on back then. So many events that just don't happen every year. Like, for example, one of the things I thought was superb at the 200th was the tall ships going up, I guess, into New York Harbor. It was either that or Boston. I think it was New York, or maybe both. But all the tall ships, the Clippers and I think the Constitution was afloat then, and I think it's supposed to be out and about now also for next week. So maybe I'll dig up some photos of that kind of stuff. I talked to Mark yesterday, and was he felt sure he was going to be here. So I better make sure I sent his. I know I sent him a link, but I will confess that I sent it late. But we just talked yesterday, so okay. Where is my sent mail? There is a place, isn't there? God, I feel like I'm just sitting here talking to myself, which I guess I am. No. There it is. Yeah, there's the link. I sent it. Well, hopefully he got it. I'll text him here in a minute. Well, I can't even find his name in here. What is up with that? He should be at the top. Well, that's well.
Brenda Pruitt.
Damn it. Me. Good morning, Mary Ellen. Thank you for popping in. So far, you're the only one here. Just me and you. Francisco popped in and said hi, but I missed him. He was here a little bit earlier. And I hope you and Freddie have a fun day planned. I appreciate you coming by. I'm beginning to wonder if either everybody's on vacation or they didn't get the link or uh, the thumb see to get a notice, because I almost forgot to put the link up and to and to schedule the show. I did indeed. And I'm wondering if you're here or if you've come and gone. Am I really on? Mary Ellen, if you can hear me, wait a minute. Am I frozen? No, I'm moving. Hey, there you are. I need to set up a chat so you and Freddie can talk. He said I'd like to have a coffee with him and just talk about everything. Well, that'd be great. We ought to do that. I would love to do that. Um, we can do that any day you want to do it. As far as I know, I don't have anything. I'm thinking I don't have anything scheduled. I don't know what day you had in mind, but I'm pretty sure I'm open all next week. And of course, I'll be on. I can be around tomorrow or whatever. I would enjoy that very much. Well, for some reason that didn't go. Hmm. I was trying to. I was trying to make sure Mark had gotten the link for this morning because we talked yesterday. He was going to be here. Hey, Dave's Disney Dreams. Welcome in, buddy. I'm not sure either, but I'll figure it out and rain. But you do that, Mary Ellen. I am sure that I can accommodate. I have nothing. That's what I was getting ready to do. I got distracted by trying to send a message. See if my wife was up. I have a bad feeling that she dozed off. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I have nothing. I don't even know if we're doing anything for the 4th of July or not, to be honest. I'm gonna maybe see what they've got going on down here for fireworks locally. I don't think we're going. As of right now, we don't have anything planned. It'd be good. I wouldn't mind getting the kids up here to have a cookout or something, if I could. Oh, Dave brought the donuts. Thank you, Dave. I'd love to have a donut this morning. Is this our dreams? Jeff's always saying I should be off the sugar, but the more I'm off the sugar, the better off I am otherwise, I'm sure. Well, Mary Ellen, if I didn't say it, well, I think I might have said it, but if I didn't say it, tell Freddie I said good morning this morning. Dave, how's it been going with you lately? You been staying busy? I'm sorry if I seem to be distracted. I'm bouncing around trying to see if I've got notes or messages from anybody that might or might not be here this morning. Or I don't have much. I don't see anything from anybody. He says, good morning back. Oh, well, that's quite okay. I wouldn't have been up long. Well, no, I probably would have been, but I've been up early a lot this week. So I might have slept in if I'd had a chance. I may try to tomorrow. I don't usually wake up whether I want to or not, but unless I have one of those nights where I don't fall asleep till like, you know, 5 in the morning or something, and then I may not get up early. Oh, have you now? I hope that's not because you've been in pain or anything. I know your back's been bothering you. That I spent many a night awake because of that personally. Way more than I want to remember. I can't, and I because of my back, I can't sleep in the bed hardly at all. I can't if I lay down like that and actually do sleep when I try to get up. I can't. It takes me a few minutes to get mechanically get straight and get stood up, and I'm usually in significant pain until I get loosened back up. So I sleep sitting up most of the time anyway in a recliner or lean back in a recliner. But I've been doing that for a long time, so I'm kind of used to it. There was a time when I thought I could never sleep that way. And I'm sure that I said more than once, I could never sleep on my back. And now that's how I sleep pretty much every night. Ever since I had my I don't know what to call it, but my spinal cord injury and surgery and the resulting effects of that, I've had these. I have a lot of nervous cramps and I don't know. I think it's nerve related things. And some nights I have that going on, and I cannot sleep when it's my leg just sits there and jerks like this all night long. Poor Teddy, he'll get down and he'll want to lay between my feet on the when my feet are up, and I'll be sitting there kicking him in the head till he'll finally get mad at me and get up and move because he's been kicked too much. I apologize. I don't mean to. I can't help it. It just I have no control over it. Man, it drives me nuts. It's I think it's mentally it drives me crazy because I can't control it. I think and physically it's painful. It's almost like a Charlie horse. Sometimes and sometimes it's just I don't know. It's like a pulse of energy or electricity or something goes down through the nerves of my leg and it builds up and then kicks and builds up and kicks and there's not anything I can do about it. I get up and walk. I get up and do laps, as I call them. I get up and walk back and forth to the bathroom or the kitchen and the living room, and that helps. That helps some, but it don't usually stop it. I usually just have to let it wear itself out. I can take a nerve pill for it, or a muscle relaxer. I mean, that helps a little bit, and I take some other stuff that helps it, makes it less bad, but it doesn't fix it. But I've been doing something else. Brenda bought some magnesium supplement gummies or chewables here a while back, and they're supposed to be good for leg cramps and things or nerve health. I'm not sure magnesium is, and I've been eating a couple of those every night. They actually seem to help a little bit. I'm kind of course it's the only chewable. Okay, you take them too, or I don't know what you take. Hey, Tina McNeil, welcome in. Yeah, magnesium. I mean, I've taken multivitamins and stuff, but in my life for that kind of thing, but I never focused that much on it. But these these chewables are they're the best ones I've ever had. In fact, they taste too good. I could sit there and probably eat a whole jar of them, which would be enough magnesium to get me through about 2 months. Good morning, Chris Nichols, and welcome in. We're just kind of waiting around and let some people see who's going to show up today. And I'm not sure who's going to be here and who isn't. I'm sort of waiting on my co-host. He, we talked yesterday. He was pretty sure he was going to be here today. There's always a possibility that he got busy or he can't get online or something. That he gets his internet's very can be affected by the weather. Well, Chris, I'm doing just fine today. I hope you are too. I hope you're having a lovely Saturday. You've been out fishing lately with you and Dave been out fishing any? I talked to Dave a couple of days ago. I need to call him. We need to. We're going to set up a show probably in a couple of weeks. If Brenda's in here, I wish she'd give me a quick call. I don't know if she is or not, Tina, but that's a good thought. She's supposed to be. Not in a few weeks. Chris, oh my goodness. Of course, I can't say anything. I haven't been fishing in a couple of years, which is not something I thought I'd be saying in my retirement years. I'm afraid to get out and wade in the creek or the river. I don't know if my legs will hold me up. I'll try to call my spouse again and make sure Dave lets me know, and I will help him. Oh, okay, I will, Chris. We're doing he and I don't know if you know. Do you know Shannon, Chris? Shannon O'Quinn that they worked with at TVA and I worked with at TVA, and you may have fished with him. I don't know. We're supposed to be going to. Well, not we're supposed to. We are going to Wyoming in about a month for them to go fishing. And I'm trying to get cameras set up. My camera broke, and I'm very frustrated right now with GoPro because they are, man, you talk about slow getting anything done. Holy mackerel. It took forever for me to get information back and forth to find out if my camera could be fixed or if it was under any kind of warranty, which of course it wasn't. And but they did cut me a deal on a new one, but I don't know when I'm going to get it. And it's an upgraded model. Oh, that's right, we are, Chris. I forgot about that. Yeah, and thank you for that. Regarding the magnesium, my doctor actually told me it takes them for headaches. Oh, really? 625 milligrams a day. Well, I'll have to look and see how much those chewables are, because I don't know. I can't remember I can't remember. I think it says to take 2 a day, which has always driven me crazy about vitamins and supplements. They always got to take 2 a day, and then they charge you $14,000 a week for them. I'm exaggerating, of course. Now I'm going to see what these are, Tina. I've taken more than 2 a day because, like I said, they're just really yummy. And I figure I'm always catching up on my magnesium a little bit. So, one big one. I'll have to look at these. If my wife was on here, I would ask her to look. Let me try to call her again. I'm thinking she's not going to answer. Her back's been bothering her too. Actually, her hip's been bothering her. She hurt. I think in one of her falls. I'm actually starting to get really worried about it. It doesn't seem to be healing up. I think we're going to have to go have that looked at. I hope she didn't crack a hip somewhere or pelvis. It seems like it's been hurting her more and more and not getting any better. I think it was when she fell off the back steps. No, I wouldn't want to chew that either, Tina, because anything I've ever had accidentally gotten in my mouth that was a gel capsule that broke open was never very tasty. But these little gummies are. I think they're Nature Brand or something. I don't know, but like I said, they're the first. I've had chewable vitamins and that kind of gummies before, and they're okay, but it's just a means of taking the pill or the getting the minerals in your system. But these particular magnesium ones are really good. I think Brenda says that she's kind of meh about them, but I like them a lot. I like them too much, in fact. But I will say this: they do seem to help with my muscle spasms at night. I have not had any really bad ones. God can I cross my fingers. I always hate to say this. I haven't any really bad ones in a couple of months now, or well, at least a month. And I can't remember when I started taking them exactly. So I'm giving them a lot of credit. Hopefully that's why my hips are bothering me, but I think it's just from getting old. Oh well, Tina, that could be our problem too. But Brenda did take that little tumble off the back steps and pretty much landed on her keister, so I'm a little bit concerned. We've been desperately trying to get her flower beds finished up. Yeah, knock on wood, that's right, Tina. We've been desperately trying. We've been here now 2.5 years. Is that right? I think that's right. And we're still trying to get some of her flower beds put in because neither one of us can get down and grovel anymore like we want to, and it seems hard to find help. My hips are bothering me, but I think I'm getting old. I swear joints age faster than the rest of us. Oh, they do. There's no doubt in my mind, Tina. We wear them out. I mean, if you worked all your life and if you've done anything, or yeah, Brenda keeps wanting to say 3, but I think it's been 2.5 or 2 and a bit. Not probably not a half, 2 1/4. I get technical, but because we moved in here actually at the end of April, first part of May, and I don't even know where to look right this minute. I don't know if I wrote it down anywhere, but I think it's been that much, and we're still trying to get settled. I mean, I don't know. Moving at this age of our lives, I will just tell anybody else that's not here yet. Uh, I don't know if you'll ever get settled again. You get comfortable somewhere and you're there for a long time, and then you have to move, and then you realize you're 65. In my case, 66 or so, and it's really hard to get back. I mean, look at my library. I'm still trying to get my library organized, and I keep looking. I need a couple more bookshelves. Let me see what we can see. Let me see what I can point to here. This bookshelf that you see right here, I actually have 3 of those, and I have them set up right there in a sort of a triangular open area. So as you go around each corner, there's a set of bookshelves, and the middle's hollow. It's empty. I really wish I could figure out a way to use that space too. And I thought about putting them up into a U shape, and then I'd have I could put something in between them. And I may still do that, but that would take up a little bit more room. So I got to figure out if that outweighs the which one I get the most benefit out of. But I need to put one. Let me turn my camera here just for a moment. I'm gonna pull it off. You guys don't get seasick on me. Back in that, let me get my hand pointing. Kind of in that corner behind these bookshelves, I have a chair set up, and I'm going to put this back down because I can't hold it steady like that. I was going to, I have sort of a reading corner there. I've got a lamp and a chair and an old chair that I actually, good morning, Carol. She just popped in. Welcome in. I'm on a Zoom from my daughter, but I'm listening. Oh, well, good. I'm glad you're listening. Hey, Jason Thibodeau popped in. I didn't see you either, buddy. Good morning, guys. We were just kind of waiting around to see who was going to be here. A couple of things happened. One, this is, of course, week before Thanksgiving. Good God, week before the 4th of July. So I don't know who may be gone out. I also almost forgot to schedule the show. I had the show ready. Had it planned. I was, never a doubt. And then this morning I realized that I got to thinking, did I schedule the show? I had not. So I wasn't sure if it even went out yet. So I was late. So I'm glad everybody found it and got here. Good morning, Donna. Welcome in. I don't know if Mark doesn't show up in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and start the show anyway for whoever's here. But anyway, Tina, I'm still trying to get that fixed, and back in that corner where that lamp is right there. I'm thinking about taking that chair out and putting another bookcase there. And I've got a couch here. I've talked about this, I think I'm going to sell this couch and bring my reading chairs up here, put a rug. I've got a couple of rugs, area rugs or throw rugs. I think I'm going to set my reading chairs up here. We'll see. That's kind of the plan now, but I got to do it. I got to try to move the couch first or get somebody to come by. And I'm hoping I can sell it. It's a leather couch. It's comfortable. I like it because I can stretch out on it and sleep if I want to take a nap, which I rarely ever do. But if I do, it's nice to have the couch to do it on. In fact, if I had that couch down at the other house, I'd probably sleep on it every night. Carol, tell your daughter I said hi and hope everything's good with her. We've got, not sure if everybody's still here, but we had Mary Ellen, T-Town Mary Ellen is here. Oh, Tina McNeil's in here. Chris Nichols. You guys may remember him. He's Dave Harrell's friend. I think you've been in, didn't you? I know you've been in chat before, Chris. I don't know if you've actually been in the show. But anyway, he's a friend of Dave's and vision partner. And who else did I see in here a minute ago? We've been talking about getting old and Medicaid. Jason Thibodeau, I said, and Carol's here. Mark is supposed to be here, but I've not heard anything out of him this morning. Oh, good. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, if I could get it to you, Tina, I would. I'd bring it up there, but I'm afraid the transportation costs would eat me up. I don't think I could sell it to you for enough money to make anything on it. I was behind. Yeah, I thought you were. I mean, you were in there. I didn't know, but I didn't think you were actually on screen. I couldn't remember for sure. Yeah, I don't think I'll have any trouble selling it. I just got to get it on the. I mean, Brenda's had a lot of luck lately selling stuff on Facebook. What's it called? Oh, Christ, Monty, selling them on Facebook Marketplace. Excuse me. And she had some stuff that she was decided to move on and just quit hanging on to, kind of some dishes, uh, collectibles Marketplace. Yeah, Carol, thank you. The and she actually moved those pretty fast, and she did okay on them. I mean, it depends on who you talk to. Some people say, "Oh, those are really valuable," and then some people say, "Yeah, kind of depends on if anybody wants them or not." So, um, we've collect. I collect things, and I don't really worry about if they're going to be valuable. I know some of them will be valuable. I have a collection in the corner over here that has gained in value since the day I bought the first one, and I know that's going to be something that when I'm dead and gone, somebody's going to get some money out of. I hope they better. And my books, I've got some books that I think are rare and valuable, but whether they're rare and valuable to anybody else, it's really hard to say. You're kind of at the whims of just. And I suspect that most people out there are like me. They're always looking for a deal. I mean, I'll be honest. There's a lot of things I'd like to have, but if the deal ain't right, I hadn't jumped on them yet. Well, anyway, I don't know if anybody else is going to make it. And another thing I realized last night was my show grew. my presentation, my slides and things. So I'm going to probably skim through some of them today. But we're going to talk about birds again, and we're going to talk about some different wading birds. A whole new round of wading birds, let's say, and it's going to be. But these are all kind of cool. I really like these birds. I've tried to be observant of them for a long time. They're just kind of unique, and that's about all I can say about them all. But we're getting ready to look. If I can I got to get my sequence or get my stuff in the right sequence here. Otherwise, you guys won't see anything. Ta-da! There it is. Now I've got to find well, where did my show go? Oh, there it is. Not my show, but my show notes. So I think I can do it like this, and I can see the chat, and I can see you guys, or I can see you guys, and I can see any notes and things I have. So without further ado, I think we'll hit the road here. So like I said, this is there's a huge group of birds that fall into the group of wading birds or shore birds or uh, marsh birds or wetland birds uh, that aren't necessarily waterfowl, because when you include those guys in all the ducks, that makes a difference too. But these guys I don't know, they're just kind of cool. I like them. I've always liked to watch them. So let's see what I managed to scrounge up for this week. And I certainly don't have everyone in a particular group. I just sort of bounced around a little bit. So please hit the like button if you haven't. As I always say, you certainly are free to hit that. You don't like the thumbs down button if you wish. But if you do that, give me the benefit of letting me know why you don't like the show, and maybe I can do better. Um, if you really like it, leave a comment. You can leave a comment, tell me you like it too for some reason. Um, I don't know. I battle with this thing of keeping. I never wanted to have a huge web presence, but at the same time, I'd like to share it out a little bit more if I could. So who knows? So if you put a comment in there, maybe YouTube sends me out more. So the first bird I'm going to talk about today is the American avocet, and these are just so such cool birds. Um, I mean, because look at the guy's beak, or bill. I need to look at something. What is the actual correct name? I always feel like I'm mispronouncing or misidentifying something because the common, the bill. Um, I guess a beak's maybe more of a slang term. I don't know. Anyway, the bill. See how long it is, but not only is it long, but look at it, the way it curves. It curves up at the end, which I just always thought makes it really special or unique or different. But this is also just a pretty handsome bird. Um, it's a pretty good sized bird compared to a lot of them. A lot of them are short and pudgy little guys close to the ground, and they're not real tall. They got slightly longer legs. The ones that tend to be in more shallow water, like along the edge, what are true shorebirds, um, do a lot of the same things these guys do, but they're doing it and they don't get out in this deep of water. All these long-legged birds, they can get out and really hunt. But this guy, and I've got a video I'm going to show you in a minute. This guy is not like the herons and the egrets that I showed last week. They fish, they catch things, bigger things like they actually kind of spear fish, or they grab a toad or a frog or a salamander or whatever. These guys pick out and find little bitty critters and mostly larvae and small bugs and things off the bottom of whatever particular water body they're in. For example, but a couple of neat things about this bird, while it looks typically like a shorebird, you can see it during much of the year. It's black and white and pale. I'll show you a picture of it in the off season. It's got really bright colors, but it can be in fresh water or salt water. Most of these birds can kind of move back and forth between salt water and fresh water. In fact, that's probably the more common thing amongst these kind of birds. You don't see it. This avocet, you don't see much in the east. This is pretty much a western bird. And I think the first time I ever saw one might have been in Oklahoma, even though Oklahoma is not necessarily where you see a lot of them. And I'll show you that map. Here's the map. And you can you see that they're mostly in the west, but they do come east along the east coast in Florida and along the Gulf Coast. I don't know if all these birds have expanded into those areas or if they've always been there. I feel like in some ways these are expansion areas, but I'm not 100% sure why I think that. Well, but I will in a minute. I'll show you some other birds that I know have expanded there. These birds are fairly plentiful and considered of least concern at this point. And I got these pictures. You can see one in juvenile or winter plumage at the bottom, and at the top you got a female with 4 little chicklets there, little fuzzballs. These guys are little bitty guys with long legs. Pretty neat though. And I mean, and these photographs I found on the internet or took off of not eBay, Wikipedia, are really good. That top one, I love that top left one. That's just, I don't know, that's just a really nice photograph. And it's kind of funny because mom or the male, I'm not sure. I didn't look that up. I should have. This looks like the male to me. But look at the chicks. They're all imitating and they're learning by following along with the adult. And birds they're very, very precocious from birth. As soon as they hatch, they're out and they're up and moving about and they're ready to go. And they grow so fast compared to most animals on the planet. A bird comes from hatching out of an egg to a couple of months later. It's not. It usually takes them a year to mature enough to be breeding adults, but they're usually full size within a couple of months, and so they learn fast. And on this particular one, I was able to find a few pictures. That you see the nesting area in the upper right. Um, Now, that's one thing I can't see. Let me see here a minute. Yeah, right here. And these are what the eggs look like. And these eggs most of these birds lay, the shape of the egg is usually kind of unique. They're elongated with a really small tip on one end and bigger on the bottom. Um, I think that's partially because of the way they're designed to roll, and they don't make much of a nest. Some of these birds, some of these waders or shorebirds like this nest, I've seen them in gravel parking lots, and they'll basically move the gravel around and lay eggs literally in a parking lot. And in fact, I've known them to be in a place where you had to kind of watch or somebody would run over them. It's just, I don't know what makes them do that. You'd think they'd avoid that kind of environment, but they will do it. And again, that bottom one that down in the lower right there is in I don't know if that's a juvenile in this case or if that's just winter plumage, but certainly not the bright colors that you see later. These guys can be 16 to 20 inches in length. They've got a wingspan of about 27 to 30 inches, which is pretty big. And they give a weight in grams, but that's not going to mean a whole lot. 9 to 15 ounces roughly. Let me see if I've got anything else really neat in here. Oh, these birds breed anything from freshwater to hypersaline wetlands in the western and Midwest. I was going to see if it told how long it actually took the chicks to fledge out and leave to be on their own. Oh, I didn't know this. They've been known to parasitize other bird nests, so they kind of like the brown-headed cowbird. They'll lay a net. They have been known to lay eggs in other nests. Let somebody else raise their young. That's interesting. They don't do that all the time, but they've been known to do that. And most of the females, like set, it does say the males do in the early part of the egg laying, or when the eggs are laid, the male sets a lot. But after that, it's pretty much all female. Let's see, what does she say? Well, look at penguins. The eggs are laid. Yeah, and exactly, Tina. I mean, they're just laid on the bare ice. And in this case, it's almost all about dad sitting on them, or at least half of the time it is. And he gets right, getting them on his feet and under his belly flap. That's what keeps them warm. First time I saw that, that absolutely amazed me that they, could do that and survive. Hardy birds, I tell you. All right, these are videos, and I'm going to give you an idea. It'll show you how they feed with this beak. These are short, and just bear with me. I think they're all going to work. And the first one also has the call, avocet call, and you can hear how they're pretty loud. So there you go. And that one doesn't show much about how they feed. The next two will show more about that, how they use their beak and or their bill and how they use it under the water. This middle one is this in this case he's just reaching down and grabbing stuff as he goes. But a lot of shorebirds use their beak, and a couple I'm going to show you later or really do this a lot. But they use their beak to stir up the mud on the bottom, and that's how they find the bugs and things they're looking to feed on. And you'll see that a little bit with this this is a group feeding together. And you can see how they're putting their heads underwater and they're all just kind of stirring and you know, picking up larvae and bugs and whatever else is down there. I don't know if I can make a difference on that, Tina. I've got the volume turned up on mine. Oops, there it went. That went down. I've got the volume all the way up, so there's not a lot of volume with them on this end. I did it more so you could see it. There's not a lot of sound with these two. This one, the loudest thing was the call. So anyway, let's see what's next. Yeah, it does. And these birds will do this in much larger groups. I mean, this is just a small group, but I've seen them, videos and pictures of them doing it. You know, hundreds of them out in a flat feeding at the same time. Oh, I didn't know I was going to do that. So the next guy I've got on here, these are really cool. These are beautiful birds. It's a black-necked stilt. Just a lovely bird. Some people call them the pied stilt. That's because of the black and white coloration. My daughter might call them a cow stilt since I guess that's a thing now. Cow cat. We got a cow. Chloe is a cow cat, black and white. She looks like a Holstein cow. Well, I didn't know that was a thing. Lots of people talk about that and call them that now. Again, this is more of a western bird, although they do get down in like the tip of Florida, and I'll show you that. The tip of Florida and down into the Caribbean. There's a lot of birds that spend a lot of time in the Caribbean, and if they do, they usually manage to get up to the Gulf Coast or at least into Florida. So Donna and folks like that could see some of these down there. And some actually breed. These guys actually will breed in Florida sometimes, but they also just hang out there at different times of the year. And they're classified as a species of least concern, but they didn't have the little fancy chart for that on these guys for some reason. And here again, you can see where they sit and lay their eggs kind of in the duff. This looks more of a that top one looks more like a lichen area or a place where there's lichen, which would be more northern most likely. But you can see the eggs at the bottom. And look at the eggs on that one. If I can back up one, two, how far am I going to go back to do this? Probably not worth doing. You know, those eggs, they're very similar. The avocet eggs and these eggs are very similar, and the shape is very similar. I put a little more information down here about these guys. They usually lay 3 to 5 eggs. They hatch after 22 to 26 days, and they begin breeding at 1 to 2 years of age. And that's another thing about birds. While they live a lot longer in captivity, most birds live longer in nature than a lot of mammals do. A lot of mammals have a shorter lifespan. Birds can tend to have quite a longer lifespan. Can you guys see that white spot on that bird, that square? I can't figure out how to get that off my screen. I don't know if you guys actually see it though. Humans are losing their capability to live off the land. They look like they're marching. Donna said birds are all out, really. I got to catch up on chat here. Let me see what Donna said. That's true. And 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 Tina said that humans are living their, yeah, they are living. That's very true. Um, it's human. I think humans are losing their ability to do a lot of things. Um, it is hard to find people anymore that actually know how to use their hands and build things. House building and working on a car and just doing things that I took for granted growing up. Uh, a lot of people don't know how to do that stuff anymore. Maybe they won't ever have to again. Okay, if you guys don't see it, then it's just on my screen. I didn't know if it was actually on the slides or what but it's a little square. It has a circle with a line through it, kind of like it's Xing something out. I don't know what it is. I got to figure that out. So anyway, I thought this was a really cool picture. This upper left, you can see where this bird landed, and you can see how he's feeding. He's stirring up the bottom, like I said, with his bill, and you can see the pattern he made through the mud there. I just thought that was kind of cool. And there it is. Micro is trying to bring that back. Yeah, he is. He is. That's true, Tina. He is doing some stuff to help encourage people, and there's some other people that are out there working and sort of reinventing. That's not the right word. Um, they're trying they're creating schools again where they teach people how to use their hands and actually do that kind of work. We went through a phase where we kind of had a blend of different people learn how to do different things from the trades all the way up to being a computer genius or something. I don't know what the comparison is, or stockbrokers, and that kind of faded out. And what is the word I'm looking for? I think I just heard somebody come in. Hang on just a second. Huh, looky here. Welcome in, buddy. There you is. How you doing this morning?
Fine. I got 2 horses that are limping. Well, I got a mule and a horse that are limping about.
Oh no.
I got a bad feeling they got the early stages of founder doctrine.
Uh-oh.
And they'll get to see the vegetarian on Wednesday.
Well, I hope that's not going to be.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
It's my filly and the mule.
It just start?
A bad deal either way.
Yeah, that's not good. We were just talking about them yesterday.
You pray for moisture, and when you get it, and you get real lush green spring grass, sometimes it doesn't work out so well.
So what do you when I was
you're going to ask me what founder is.
Well, kinda. I mean, because I grew up calling it.
Well, there's a variety of forms, so this is definitely a food related deal. That they eat these brand new spring grasses that are lush and succulent, that are heavy in complex sugars, and it affects their joints, especially their feet.
Kind of like gout.
And so yeah, sort of. And it can do permanent bone damage. The cannon bone in the foot can fall. They get the dropsy. I don't know what I don't know. I'm not a veterinarian, so I don't.
No, I know. I
it's always been one of those kind of mystery diseases that I know is bad.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Well, my
horses and mules both get it, and people for a long time said mules were immune to it, and they're full of crap. But,
well, my uncles raised horses, and they talked about founder, but sometimes I don't know if they knew what caused it exactly. They knew when the horse was having foot problems, but
Well, there's one version of it that's kind of like an autoimmune deal,
uh-huh.
but having two come down with it, one of which is not the same species. Well, half the same species
Well,
is,
yeah, related.
and it might not be that at all. I just got back from town and went and got some Butte and some pain meds for them, and
Well, I hope it can clear it up.
they're gimping around. Yeah, I had a really good horse day yesterday, and today
I know you were excited about it.
I was really excited.
And now,
But only them that has them can lose them. So,
well, that's true. And none of the other horses are showing signs yet. Just those two.
no, just those two. And not all horses are. Some horses are more prone than others, and like I said, it's kind of a. To me, it's always been one of those like colic, or founder, or which they call laminitis. It makes the hoof wall do weird things, and
Right.
the white line in the hoof can expand, and it's basically an inflammatory disease that impacts the bone structure of the foot and knees and shoulders. I think I've got it. I think I caught it from this morning.
Well, that might explain a lot about my health too.
That was probably why. That's probably from picking up hooves this morning. But
Yeah, that probably is. Well, I hope you get that cleared up.
Tina said they need a mustard plaster.
There you go.
They used to put that on your chest for when you had the whooping croup or whatever.
I used to know people that thought some various forms of that would cure about everything.
Kind of like Vicks.
Yeah, kind of like Vicks, or there was
Vicks
another. Yeah. Oh, I've lost now.
That's all you had to have in your medicine cabinet was Vicks, Vapor Rub, and Dilaid.
Well, there was another medicine that came in a small jar, and it was a salve of some sort. I can't remember what it was called, and I knew people growing up that thought you put that on everything. I can't remember what it was called. Dang it!
They put it on everything.
Do what?
They put it on everything. That was like a horse liniment.
I got stung by a bumblebee one time. I was down at this buddy of mine's house.
One time.
Well, this time. And I met once when we were doing this. We were fighting these bumblebees. They had a big nest in their barn, and we were trying to get them out.
So you weren't attacking their village.
Well, maybe. But I remember the first thing as I got stung, this guy's mom said, "Oh, we need to put that, whatever that was, rub some of that on it." And
mix this 50-50 with dirt and put it on there, and you'll be good.
Jason, I think Mark's used some Blue Star ointment before. I never have. But Tina said black salve. That's probably another variation of the same thing. Salve. Anyway, that kind of stuff.
Well, I used the Blue Emu with the lidocaine in it on my shoulder. I'm gonna paint up with that here when we're done.
Well, yeah, you said it works pretty good. I need to try
can't feel it. It still hurts, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does.
But yeah, it just was one of those mornings. I got up at 0400 and I made a big old pot of antelope. Now, is it an antelope or is it a pronghorn? I have to put one in the swear jar. The pronghorn jar. I made up a big bunch of canned pronghorn meat with green chili and taters and thickened it all up good, and it's going to be burritos. We got big
Oh, my goodness.
visiting dignitaries today, so
Oh, that's right. You got
but
company coming.
I got voluntold to take them horse riding. So
Yeah, now you got the two you got down, they weren't going to ride
that
anyway.
that wouldn't have mattered any anyway.
Yeah,
So
it wouldn't have mattered. Tina said she also used Northern Ice. Now I've not seen that brand. I've used ice of other brands, but I haven't seen Northern Ice. That must not be something we have here in the South.
you beat me to it.
Chris says he's over heading your way for burritos.
Come on.
I promise you, they're pretty good. I've had some of Mark's pronghorn. And
they're going to be good. They're going to be good. I can smell. It's just in there simmering right now.
You can already smell it. Jason said, "I remember something called Black Draft." I remember that.
I remember finding big bottles and some of them were even cork bottles in my grandpa's barn after he passed. Almost all of them said like Sloan's horse liniment on them. And you rubbed it. It was some kind of the stuff that was still in the bottles was like, you didn't want to get that on you, I'm sure. But he swore by all that stuff and used it all the time.
Yeah.
On his mules, his working mules and his riding mule. They always got some kind of liniment rubbed into their joints.
Well, you can see we were talking about more shorebirds and wading birds, and right at the moment we were talking about these black-necked stilts.
Which are one of the oddest looking birds on the planet, but cool.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe a critter that size can walk around on those two little twigs.
Yeah, that is a good point, because some of these birds are kind of large body, but they got little bitty long, spindly looking legs, but they seem to make do. Tina said that Northern Ice is just a local thing made there in Utica, so we probably don't have it down this way.
And Tina says the waders are on.
Yeah, we got our waders on today. Anyway, let's see what I got next here on the list. We got a curlew. We got a long-billed curlew.
I just flushed one of them off a nest yesterday. Horseback.
Yeah, because I was going to point that out because you're up in the area here where they in their breeding range, I believe.
Yes, yeah, so I didn't know what habitats they bred in. It was on the river bottom, but it wasn't in. She flew off the nest when me and the dogs walked through, and they didn't chase her or bother the nest or anything. But she was in a drier spot than I was expecting.
She was up on the bank though, in like the grass, or down off the bank.
No, she was 100 yards from water in.
Oh, okay.
Under a bunch of willows and stuff, and the dogs had just chased a big white-tailed jackrabbit into that thicket, and she come flying out of there, squawking and swirling over me. Obviously, she either had chicks or eggs.
Yeah. Did she do the broken wing?
I was trying to get my magic phone device out, and I couldn't get it. Honeycomb took that opportunity. She could feel me like needing to do something and just like does something else.
Of course. Did the bird do the broken wing thing, or did it just take off?
No, it just kind of flew around my head, hollering, and I'm like, "Come on, dogs!" And we got out of there.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. I suspect she actually had chicks.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
She was in that like, I will take you right off that horse.
We'll pick your eyes out. Yeah, I think we saw a couple of these. I was thinking we saw a couple of these last time I was out there.
You did.
And
We
didn't
had,
we say,
we had curlews in the pasture out here.
yeah, I thought
we
so.
were here.
And didn't you also have a foul rope, one of the foul ropes out
We
there?
saw Wilson's foul rope.
Wilson, yeah. I don't know if I've got them on here today or not, but I'm going to eventually get them.
The other ones we don't have. We just have the Wilsons.
Yeah, okay.
The other two are up in the north country.
Yeah,
Alaska.
I don't know if I've got the measurements, but yeah, these guys have a long bill. There's no two ways around that. And
Yeah,
and,
I mean, if you look at them, they look like that stilt. They're only with their bill.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like, well, how do you even make a living? But they probe the earth.
right.
When
That's what this
when it's
picture is.
wet. So when I flood irrigate my pastures, that's when they show up. Those and the white-faced ibises and things like that, they come there then. And they're just eating all the goodies that are coming up out of the soil.
Right.
The animal goodies that are coming up out of the soil.
You think they can probe in your pasture enough to get those, like those Mormon crickets and that kind of thing?
If it's wet,
Yeah.
if it's not wet, you can't probe that ground with a jackhammer.
Well, you can see like this upper one up. These guys are on the beach, obviously, but you can see one probing here at the bottom. But that upper one in the left has either a small crab or what I used to call sand fleas.
A sand flea or a crab.
And so I figured if they could eat that, they could probably eat Mormon crickets if they could get a hold of one.
Oh yeah, and they would have got a good meal too.
I would think so.
Insect.
These guys on the right are courting, so that's what's going on over here. A little dance happening there. Hey baby, hey baby, hey baby. Now what movie? That's from a movie. Somebody said that was the male human mating call. Hey baby, hey baby, hey baby. I can't remember what that was from. Anyway, pretty neat birds. And I got one in flight and one out. This is probably kind of like your country. Here's one out in the grass. I mean, that could be your part of the world there, certain.
That's certain. I bet that's either western Nebraska or eastern Wyoming.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Somewhere in that part of the world.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize
they're considered a wading bird, but they do perfectly fine in dry country. I didn't know the breeding biology and where they nested, where they selected for nest sites. But this one was tucked up under some of our native willows.
Okay. So a little cover.
Was just, but it may have just had its chicks over there in the shade.
That's true. That's true.
The nest might have been down. There's an old oxbow slough there. She might have nested in that or around that, and then had the chicks out wandering about. I don't know.
That's your dignitaries?
Here. Huh?
Is that your dignitaries on site?
Well, some of them maybe, and maybe it was nobody. Maybe they just heard a horse or who knows?
Maybe.
Could be a grizzly bear in the backyard. I don't know.
Could be, or a moose.
It's a good thing I've got my carbine action
your Red Ryder BB gun. Carbine action.
In case or a grizzly bear. Flick said he saw some grizzly bears down at such and such.
Right. Oh, and then we'll move back to one that's more of a real shorebird. I mean, these guys, by their name, you'd think they pretty much stay around the coastal area. And that's an oyster catcher, an American oyster catcher. There's also other varieties of these guys, too. But they're pretty much a New World kind of bird.
I think they're only on the coast. I mean, they eat oysters, so.
And they do. And
I agree with them. That's a fine food source.
Well, and you can look. Here's one of the coolest things about these birds, and it's probably one of the reasons I like shorebird in general is how far they move, what their ranges are. I mean, from the Arctic to the tip of what is it, Tierra del Fuego down in South America. I mean, some of these birds travel great distances, and one of my favorites is going to be at the end or near the end, and they fly the red knot, and they fly I think they fly some of the longest migration routes of any of them, and they're just kind of a small bird. But these guys are most of these guys are doing.
Well, they're not a little bitty bird though. They eat oysters.
Oh yeah, these guys, yeah. And there we can see kind of where they nest, and you get an idea of their eggs. Again, they're kind of like those others. They're not quite as pointy on the end as the previous ones, but they're all speckled and they're all camouflaged. And like I said, here's one, laying its eggs in a little hollow in the ground, and I'll tell you something. You can walk across that ground, and that bird can flush off the nest, and you still may not see the eggs. Some of these eggs camouflage so well.
So I've got a pair of killdeers nest.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Right at the end of right as I leave my kind of barn lot area, right in my driveway.
Yep.
And I know they've laid eggs there somewhere, and I can't find them. And I found a nest one time in the gravel parking lot at the Game and Fish headquarters in Cheyenne, and I literally walked 10 feet away, told somebody about it, asked them if they could bring me a little surveyor flag so we could poke the nest so that nobody would run over it. And I turned around and walked back to that nest, and I never found those eggs ever again.
It's amazing.
I have just seen them.
Well, that's what I was just telling people a minute ago, that some of these birds will nest literally in a gravel parking lot. Killdeer is the perfect example. Well, I see them all the time, and sometimes they'll be in they'll have a paved parking lot, and they'll be at the edge of it where it's graveled, and they do the classic example of what I was talking about a while ago, the broken wing. They'll run off a nest and they'll drag a wing.
I'm injured.
I'm hurt. Come and get me. Come and get me. You can. I'm a fair game here, and then they'll take off.
They do that even when there's eggs and chicks.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's, but once the chicks are like dried off, they're up on those little long legs of theirs and running like it doesn't even look like it's real. They got almost adult sized legs and a little bitty fluff ball on the end of it.
Yeah, kind of like a little hairy ping pong ball, kind of like a fuzzy ping pong ball at the top of their legs.
Only not, about that size.
And they can scoot right along too.
Oh man.
They can't fly yet, but they can get around on the ground. And you can see about here at this lower, I can't get my cursor on, maybe I can. This one right here. And you can see it's feeding the chick. I don't know what in the heck that is, but it's an oyster pulled out of the shell, or it may be. It kind of looks like one.
Because they eat all kinds of invertebrates, but they love oysters.
Pretty much anything they can catch at this point.
And you think about what the bill strength is like to get that oyster out of its shell.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. I mean, think how hard it is to pop one open.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like it's an easy meal, but they know that in any form, fried, raw, whatever, they're great.
Yep, I'd have to agree with that. Anyway, neat birds. And here we got a red-necked phalarope. So this is not one Mark would have.
But that's a male.
And that's a male. And and they vary. These guys vary in shape. I mean, the neck length and that kind of stuff changes with what you like, the ones you have versus this one. Like I said, I don't know if I got Wilson's in here today or not. I should have put them all together, but I didn't.
Do you have the red Phalarope?
I think I do. I think I have that one. Well, I'm not sure. I know I looked at it.
To look at like the difference between the sexes, because this is the bird that the males are the dull one, the females are the brilliantly colored ones.
Yeah, this is a bird. I think I talked about this, maybe mentioned it, but if not, this is a bird that the male, once the female lays her eggs, she leaves the nest.
She goes and finds her another male.
She goes and finds her another fella, and she lays some more eggs, and the males take care of the eggs. That they raise the chicks, they hatch the eggs, they raise the chicks. It's all up to them, and the female's off, hanging out with her new buddies, having more babies. She lays eggs, and she moves. It's a reverse breeding strategy over almost everything else I can think of, where you've got
hussy.
Yes, she is. I mean, you think about deer, for example, where you got one buck and he may breed 20 or 30 does in his area, and they'll kind of collect their little harem or their herd. Elk are a really good example of that. And you got one male doing all the breeding. In this case, you got a female running around doing it all, which has to be kind of harder if you think about it, because their bodies have to reproduce that, make that egg and the calcium, and the males kind of got it easy in that respect. Chris was gonna say slut. Yeah, we all got our slip signed. I'm sure. Yeah, that's true. But hussy does work. Whole different breeding strategy, though. It's really interesting.
And it's rare. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's very rare.
I won't say that Phalaropes are the only ones that do that, but they might be.
They're one of the few.
That bottom left photo is a Wilson's Phalarope female.
This one down here?
Yeah. That is a red-necked, I think. They look.
This one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably is.
But those are like winter plumage birds. Those other two, they're not males. The males are more camouflage than that.
Well, that's why I mixed them up in here a little bit. Again, I pull these pictures, most of them off of Wikipedia and some birding sites, and sometimes they get them mixed up too.
Well, not the interweb.
No, everything's true there.
Everything's true on the interweb.
And you can look at these eggs. I mean, they got that real pointy end, but they're still camouflaged. They're a different color, though, which tells you that they probably lay their eggs in a little bit different.
Well, they make a nest, as I recall.
I think so. I think they make a bit of a nest anyway. And over here in the right, this is breeding taking place right in front of us. So we must have all of our adult paper signed, making sure everybody's up to speed here. But that's what's going on, and they breed in the water, which is also kind of unique, I think. Then we got this guy.
It makes them.
What'd you say?
Never mind. I was going to tell a really bad dad joke, but I'm not going to now.
Okay. Then we got this guy.
It wasn't worthy.
Okay. Now these guys didn't used to be considered a North American bird. This was a European bird, but now they're also starting to show up in different places on in North America and South America, and they're kind of moving this direction, or some of them are anyway. Again, when you got these birds that make these really long migrations around half the earth or more, they can end up, and it's not anything for them to decide to fly somewhere else one day. But mostly they've mostly been European until recently. And
is that a knot? What is that bird?
Well, I'm not sure what the one is flying now that I look at it. I thought it was a female ruff, but it may not be.
Just had up.
That one? That's a male, and he's all fluffed out. And I
don't see what you're talking about. That one.
This one.
Yeah.
Well, this is supposed to be his ruff around his neck. That picture looks kind of weird, to be honest. But
well, if something was flying at me looked like that, I'd think it was weird.
And they draw in females on a let, kind of like a prairie chicken or something, or guys you have a lot of grouse and such. And I thought this was a female. I think it was listed as one. It may not be. And you can kind of see that they're have a variation on their status in the world. They've got, in some areas they're considered least concern, but in some areas they're now considered near threatened. So it just depends on all these birds are so affected by environmental effects and development. When you got birds that like to live on a shoreline,
I always ask them for the data.
What?
How many breeding pairs or whatever means they're least concerned or they're near threatened? They don't. Where's the data?
Well, I didn't go deep
digging. Out there
and
doing these big giant surveys over their whole range. I think we like to assign numbers to these critters that we don't have the ability to do.
Well, that's probably true, but if you're doing it in a small area and they disappear, I think that's what they're going by in this case. But or in a given area.
Yeah.
Anyway,
habitat impact.
I didn't go digging into the data, so I'm not gonna. You're.
They may do surveys over their whole range and have some kind of trend they're looking at, but I'm betting no.
So
there's that bird again. Don't put birds on here we don't know what they are.
Well, it's a ruff, and this is how it got its name. Literally, this guy, it's named after this guy who is some Dutch gentleman. And back when this kind of fashion was in, he named this bird, and he named it basically after the fashion wear. This is a male ruff.
The circles I run in.
Well, I've never seen one either, but they weren't here probably anytime we were looking. These guys are just starting to move this way. They've just started showing up.
You didn't hear my comments. So.
What'd you say?
I said that dude would have got beat up in the circles.
Oh. Well, that's possible, yeah. But he's wearing armor too, it looks like. Maybe not.
Yeah, but some of them dudes wore it just for show.
Well, that's probably true. I mean, that upper picture shows them kind of on a lek, and this lower, that one, it's just in black and white pencil. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that is too. But anyway, I just put them in there because they're different looking, and they are starting to show up over here now. Because I was going to pull them back out until I read a little bit about that, and they are starting to see some numbers in this part of the world.
So we get red knots occasionally too, but that is not the bird that you have on the slide. So
no, I'll get there.
That's one of those Eurasian birds that gets over here occasionally.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's the case, but they're showing up more and more. This is a glossy ibis. It's more of that kind of bird too. It's more of a African bird, or even down into all the way over to Australia, and I'll show that in a minute. But they have started building populations in the Caribbean now.
Well, humans have got to be helping them out.
Well, they probably are, but some of these birds, I don't know. I mean, some of them I think are maybe moving, but yeah, you always suspect that. and this map's not very large. I apologize, but you can see that in South America, up to the Caribbean and into Florida, these birds are starting to be, you know, kind of common.
Wow.
What was it last week we were talking about? Oh, cattle egrets, for example.
Yeah.
You know, they thought that for a long time about cattle egrets, and they figured out they really were just flying over here. Yeah. And here's just a couple more pictures you can see. It's a pretty bird. I mean, that neck and that
glossy ibis still.
Say what? Yeah, this is.
We have our own, you know.
I've got pictures.
Okay.
I got more pictures.
We don't have to talk about barn eye ibises.
Well, anyway. So I do have pictures. Then I got this guy who is a scarlet ibis. These are South American and Caribbean, again, moving up into Florida and the Gulf Coast. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen one of these. I've seen the other ones. We have, of course, the white, and I don't know if I got them in here today or not. I should have. I kind of put the showy ones in here today because they're showy. And this is where their normal range has been, but again, like I said, they're starting to move further up. And I put stuff. It was in mostly stuff. It was in the western hemisphere. Is kind of where I was going with most of this. So, and I thought that was a cool picture of its skull down there at the bottom. It reminds me of that those masks they wore during the plague days in Europe. Anyway, they're kind of neat birds. They're just really pretty birds. In the next picture, I just thought was really cool. But you can see this is a difference between a young and a mature male. And I'm sure they get some of that color from eating a lot of shrimp and such. I thought this tree picture was kind of nice. It's sort of a Christmassy looking. See, we even got do what? We lost him. I don't know what he said. Maybe he said he had company. I don't know. Anyway, we'll keep going. I always thought these birds were kind of neat just because they got a neat name, Rudy Turnstones, and they're another high, long traveler and mostly along the coast kind of bird. And you can see by again, apologize for the small map. It's just that they go so many places. They nest and breed in the Arctic mostly, and then they move further south. These birds and a whole bunch of other ones, and red knots, and I'm going to talk about in a minute, fly mostly down along the coast because of what they feed on, and how they feed and where they feed and what they're looking for. There's some particular things that only breed and lay their eggs along the east coast of North America that a lot of these birds feed on and rely on to be able to travel, make their migrations. It's just another neat colored bird. And there's a little bunch of them on rocks, but they're mostly right on the coast. And then we got red knots, which Mark mentioned a minute ago, and he's not here. So I thought these birds are just kind of neat because Seaton talked about them in some of his books. He drew them, and I don't know if it was one of the first. If it's a book about his when he was growing up, his biography or autobiography, and he talked about seeing red knots on the Great Lakes areas. And these guys are really cool because, well, really cool. They're one of the birds, again, one of the species that relies upon and specializes on eating stuff they get on the east coast of the United States, particularly around Delaware and that part of the coast, because that's where horseshoe crabs breed and lay their eggs. And these guys eat lots of those eggs. They eat a lot of arthropods and larvae, and they'll eat some hard-shell mollusks. And I'm looking for the part where it says they rely so much in migration. I'll get to it here. But here you can kind of see where all they are and where all they fly to. They go from the tip of Tierra del Fuego all the way up to the Arctic in North America, or Canada, above Canada. Pretty neat birds. Again, you can kind of see their eggs are always pretty much the same shape. And that's sort of so they roll into, they kind of roll into the middle. They don't roll away. I thought I heard him pop back in. Hey, Mike, welcome in, buddy. Maple Bacon has shown up here. Oh, I'd always talk about good things about Canada, Mike. Let's talk about these birds fly from Canada all the way down to the end of South America. Good to see you, buddy. And here is just a huge bunch of red knots on the coast in the Delaware Bay area, mixed in a bunch of other birds. But by the tens of thousands, these birds show up at a particular time in a particular area of the coast that coordinates at the time of year when horseshoe crabs are laying their eggs. And horseshoe crabs will crawl up on the beach. They'll lay their eggs in the sand, and then they'll crawl back into the water. And these birds are there waiting to get those eggs. Hey, R. Johns, welcome in, buddy. So I've got a little video of that I'm going to show you now. So I think I've got my sound turned up. So turn yours up and take a listen to this. I'll let him talk about it instead of me. Can you hear that? Oh, sorry about that, guys. I killed it. I'll bring it back. I didn't know that would stop it. I typed in a message to Mike. So if you can't hear it, what they're talking about is this gentleman and the young lady or the lady that was in the boat with him. They're doing surveys, and like Mark was talking about data, show me the data. Well, these guys do this in a whole bunch of areas along the East Coast, and they count as best they can the different species of birds that are here. And at the time of year, they've been monitoring red knots now for quite some time. And there is a fear that the populations in red knots may have dropped as much as 80% just in the last 10 to 20 years, which is devastating loss of numbers. And again, what these birds are feeding on, they're here when the horseshoe crabs are laying eggs on the shore, and that's what they're picking up. Horseshoe crabs will lay anywhere from the edge of the surf up into the edge of the dunes almost, and the birds are there picking them out of the sand and grabbing them as the tide rolls them up. Cape May, New Jersey. Yes, it is, John. That's what I was saying. These areas of Delaware and New Jersey is where these birds flock to. And that's why this gentleman and his cohort are there counting. And they do this all up and down through there now. They've been doing this for several years now. Well, quite a few years now. Sorry you can't hear it. I think the volume's up as high as I can get it. But anyway, I'll let you watch the rest of it and we'll talk about it. Uh-oh. Probably going to start over. And that's volume as much as I can get. I backed up to where they're doing the survey. I will post the link to this if anybody's interested.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Are you muted?
No, I'm just being quiet while these guys talk because they can't hear it. It's low volume.
I can't hear it at all. Like zero.
Okay, maybe there is no volume.
They must set these up so you can't play them on another platform or something.
Maybe. And
it's real jerky.
That may be on your end. This end's pretty straight, pretty smooth.
Yeah,
there's the eggs that they're feeding on. All those little bitty round things. That's the
crabs.
Horseshoe crab. Yeah.
That was just a guess because I just saw a horseshoe crab crawling across there. So that was a species that was always considered a Eurasian species that we have lots of now.
Red knots.
Red knots.
Yeah.
And I often wonder if sometimes they always have done that and we just hadn't recorded it. We do that all the time. That is a wild beast right there.
Yeah.
That thing's been around as long as things have been around.
Yeah, that's very
unchanged.
John was talking about the fact that these guys, part of where he lives, they do that is where they do this, where these birds come into and, they're feeding on these eggs. I'm going to put this link in the chat in a minute. Anyway, that's just how they gather. And
the part where Tim got stung and he needed his salve.
What's that?
You needed some salve because you got stung.
Yeah, it's about birds, except for when I was talking about the salve. You're right. Let me see if I can pull
this. Bees fly too.
Do what?
Bees fly too.
Oh, I can't get to the link. I'll have to put the link in a minute. Somebody remind me. when they get through with the slides. I can't put them in.
I don't
right
know
now.
if we've had one successful replaying of a video on this yet.
Yeah, I have. I've had some that worked, and this one should work. It's just that the volume is so. I think this is more because the volume is so low. I mean, I can just barely hear it too. So,
Oh,
but they are talking, and on this end, I can hear it. It's just not very much. And I lost my notes, but oh well, I don't need them anyway. But I do need to find my button. Who's got the button?
oh, Boudreaux's growling, so they're definitely humans here now. Maybe.
Okay, I'm not going to play that again. I want to move on. I've lost my. There it is.
I'm gonna have to leave again.
You're going to have to go.
The first
All
time
right.
was I thought something was happening to the horses, and the second time was now people were showed. So,
Well, enjoy your day.
you're
Be
gonna
safe
have
out.
you're gonna have to do without my strange wit.
And expertise.
Oh, hang on. Or nobody's here? Oh,
Nobody's here.
we're yelling at dogs or yelling at horses. So
Oh, okay. Carol said that's
It's been one of
true. But
those mornings.
Carol said that's true, but if we let Tim talk about birds and bees, things could get dicey.
That's when the permission slip has to be fully deployed.
Oh well, and here's some more neat birds. Look very similar to a curlew, but they're not quite the same size. Hudsonian Wimbrel. Again, mostly along the coast and the Arctic. They breed in the Arctic, Hudson's Bay area. Mike, there you go, Mike. Hey, Nico, welcome in, buddy. And they're all the way down into South America, and they pretty much hug the coastlines wherever they go. And here's a curlew standing beside one of these guys. So they look a lot alike. You have to look for some, particular wing markings, markings on their bill, the length of their bill. There's all kinds of, and of course, the size of the bird. The curlew is obviously a bigger bird. But that's a good juxtaposition to see the two together, but also how similar they are. If you just saw them fly by, you might take you a minute or might not be able to figure out which is which. Because they are so many of these birds look coloration, at least when they're in winter plumage, or the females look a lot alike. And I just like that because it was a kind of a close-up. And then we got the American flamingo, which is all but gone in the United States, except where we brought them back up from the Caribbean and in zoos and places around Florida where you see them. And they're I guess probably pinned so they don't, the wing pins, but pin feathers are kept cut or removed so they can't fly, but so they stay in an area. But these are kind of interesting birds. The way they feed, the way their bill is shaped is very unique. And just the fact that they look like they're on even longer stilted legs and a big, fairly good sized body is just, they're just kind of interesting. But you can see that they're mainly in northern South America now, in Mexico and the Gulf. But they do still come to the United States, but not very much. Most of the birds here have been reintroduced. They disappeared in the early 1900s, pretty much. The native birds are the ones that were, here all the time. Again, I don't know if that was all development or if it had something to do with feather trade again, but that's just, it happened.
Well, certainly all those habitats have become high-rise hotels and condos, and
yes, which is one of the things that affects all these birds that are along the coastal shoreline. that property has become, on one side of things, so valuable to developers that they don't, they want to circumvent any kind of protections. And I've been through some of those battles, and they're tough. But when when they're putting the value of
you're holding up progress, man.
Yeah, I know.
Money.
Money, 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 money.
Money.
If you've ever seen these guys feed, because the way their bill is turned, they look like they're feeding upside down as they do kind of the same thing I showed you earlier, where they muddle up the water and they get in the mud, but they're picking up stuff, kind of backwards. But maybe they can see it better that way now that I look at it and think about it. I guess you could say they're beautiful and ugly at the same time. It's hard to believe that little bitty fuzzy thing right there, though, in that upper corner grows into that big pink thing standing there beside it. I don't know what's going on at the top.
There's a serious change in bill shape that goes on between the juvenile and the adult.
Yeah, look, that's fairly normal looking. Normal being what you see on other birds, and then it goes to this, kind of like the transformation. A little different, I know. So don't correct me.
That feels.
Wow. Kind of like that, the change that happens in salmon when they go from the ocean up into their breeding areas to spawn. How much their face and their mouth and their jaws change drastically.
They go from a critter that's got a mouth that's normal to one that doesn't.
Yeah, completely doesn't. But these guys, once they do it, they don't, of course, die after they lay an egg. They keep going. So now, since we talked about the birds and bees, for all I know, that's a mating thing going on up in the upper corner. But it may not be. I put this bottom picture in just because you can see these are one of the birds. A lot of these birds do this, but they stand on one leg, and they do that to help conserve body heat and temperature. And they've only got one leg. I don't know how they stand like that all the time, but they do. And they tend to bury their face in their feathers also. That's what's going on there. That's why you can't see a head. But normally they would look like this. Now, these birds I just think are neat because their bill.
They're just beautiful.
They are. And these guys, I have seen these guys in Florida a lot, quite a bit in my life. And the way they feed on the bottom, and I've got a little video of that. Again, you probably won't be able to hear anything. I'm not even sure there is any sound to it, but it shows how they feed.
Southern Louisiana's just eating up.
Yeah, lots of these. And again, they get
Texas, coastal Texas.
The keratin that makes flamingos pink and other birds, ibis, and they're eating the same things and they get the same effect. That's where a lot of this pink coloration comes from.
They're eating shrimp.
Shrimp, yeah. And nobody can. Who wouldn't want to eat shrimp all the time? Well, there's my wife. Good morning, Miss Brenda. I tried like crazy to call you a while ago. I'm not sure what she said there. I'm going to back up. Backhoe beaks. That's probably a good way to put it, Tina. They kind of look like a backhoe's bucket. What did Brenda say? Somebody, Brenda, we're just glad you're here. You and Tim can discuss it amongst yourselves later. Oh, I'm sure we will. Oh, the fact that she's very late. Well, it happens. But anyway, you see these guys, like Mark said, all over the coastal area of Louisiana and Texas and along the coast into Florida. See these guys quite a bit. They're just really another neat bird. And here's their migration areas and places where they breed and carry on and do all that kind of stuff. I mean, look, they fly. Look how their neck is.
And there was talk about slutty birds.
Yeah,
Chris keeps bringing that up. I'm gonna eat your burrito if you keep bringing that
up. Yeah, we talked about the Phalaropes mating and how the female runs around and has lots of babies with lots of guys, and we decided that they're not just promiscuous; they're a bit slutty, or hussies, depending on how you want to put it. We had both expressions used. And that's what they look like up close, or at least up closer. And they're off the ground and they build nests a lot like, somewhat like herons and things do in trees, lots of sticks, all bunched up, and that's how they lay their eggs. And their chicks are about as ugly as they can get when they get to this point. I mean, they're kind of, I don't know, kind of dinosaur looking in a way. What do they look like, Mark? What's the dinosaur?
well, they are dinosaurs.
Well, they are, I know, but I mean, what's the one with there was a particular dinosaur that had a flat nose, kind of like
I'm thinking Edmontosaurus, one of the duck-billed dinosaurs.
Well, the duckbills, yeah. Let's just say that.
But there was a pterodactyl that had a similar face. It showed up over and over in different groups of critters over the years.
Well, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, Tina. I'll try to do better. Anyway, these are just neat birds. Now, these pictures are bottom are them feeding, and here's how they kind of work around at the right. And honestly, this may be sped up a little bit, but I've actually seen them do this. They move like this a lot. There's no volume on this one. Just watch.
I think that's normal speed.
I do too. I thought it was sped up at first, but I think it's
There's
pretty
a
normal.
shoveler that also has a beak like that, doing the exact same thing, but
Yeah.
a bird sits on top of the water instead of waiting. So that's a cool comparison there. They're both down there probing in the mud, trying to get things to come up.
I don't know if I can stop that or not.
Right there he is.
Well, I couldn't stop it quick enough.
The hen was there, but
there's a hen. You can see her bill a little bit there in the corner.
And she follows the traditional model of bird breeding biology.
Yeah, and here's the male. This is actually the male over here. I just couldn't get a picture of his bill. But they're down there stirring things up and grabbing stuff off the bottom. And that's what they do for a living.
Yeah, little aquatic invertebrates come popping up out of the mud.
Yep.
And they're snatching them
up. Gobble them up.
Dragonfly nymphs and all.
So that was 50-something slides. That's why I hurried through them. Didn't get as much detail. And again, the pictures some of them may get mixed up. I'm at the mercy of how they're labeled. And I just thought this was a cool parting shot because it's, shows a lot of birds out there. Hang on a minute.
You're a waiting bear today.
I am. Always trying to be different somehow.
What are you waiting for?
Well, I'm just waiting out there. I'm trying to get me some crawdads and stuff too. They don't get them all.
I watched the northern raven sitting by my irrigation ditch about a week ago, and he caught one frog, and then he caught a big old crawfish, a raven. He was just sitting.
Really?
Yeah, he was sitting on the edge of the ditch, and I just stopped the car by him, and he just sat there, and I'm like, well, what are you so intent on? And he looked and he looked and he reached down and grabbed a big old northern leopard frog, swallowed it down, and then like looked over to the side, and there was a crawfish there, and he grabbed it, a great big one. He grabbed it and ate it too.
Wow. Okay, I got something really weird going on with my computer here.
You did good. It's only noon.
There. Hopefully I didn't cut everybody off. My screen was frozen over there.
Oh, there's still.
I still have time. I mean, aren't ravens some of the smartest creatures on earth? Well, they are pretty smart, yeah.
Indeed. And
I just didn't know they did that.
Look, see if you can Google, not you, Tim, but the folks at home, Google the how ravens and some of those birds perceive themselves because of the spectrum of light that they can see that we cannot. So we look at a raven and they're just black, or up close a little iridescent. When they see in ultraviolet light at some scale, and they're brilliantly colored, which is cool.
This is that video with the red knots. If you want to look at it at home, you can hear more what they're saying. Somebody check that and see if that works. Because right now I'm looking at it, wondering that I may have gotten it up against the last word, and it will screw up the link. But if it does, I'll redo it. But anyway, that's if you want to watch that. And it talks a little bit more about the survey work they're doing and counting and all that. And when Cottrell was a young man, he used to tell me stories. You've done this with mammals at least, maybe birds too. But they used to do flyovers and count ducks and eagles.
Hundreds of hours of duck survey.
And
we flew under bridges occasionally. And you'd pop out and there'd be a power line, and you'd have to pop over top of it because you're flying down the river. And you're supposed to count and sex and determine age on birds that you just saw for like 1.6 seconds,
it's tough, but that's about the only way you can do it. And that's what those people were sitting there,
When there's guys that's all they do for a living.
Yeah, that's right. And in the case of those shorebirds, where they were eating the horseshoe crab eggs, that was a mixed flock of Dunlin and red knots and seagulls and all kinds of things in there.
Yeah, so you got to
themselves on those eggs. Do what?
You got to determine numbers off of that, and it's like, are they increasing or decreasing? You're never going to know what the number is. Somebody's got to murder of crows. Kay's got to murder of crows.
Her brother does, and he feeds them. They follow him around. Now, I don't doubt that a bit.
Well, and you know that a group of ravens is a convocation.
Well, I did, but I didn't. I wouldn't have thought of that right off.
No, I mean, she's talking about a murder of crows.
Yeah,
and you've got a crash of rhinoceri and a screaming Mimi of snakes. Patrick F. McManus.
That's right. Oh man, that's something I didn't get out. I meant to get the momentary stationary panic out for Brenda. I've got that book out. I don't know where I laid it down at. I got to take that down to the house. She wants to hear that story again. I need to read that online. That's a good one. Do what?
Tina was wondering what group of birds is a congress. I don't know if I know that one. Crazy birds in Washington, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure what group that is either. I can't remember.
Lonely bird.
But I can also try to.
Now I got people.
Eagles.
A Congress.
Congress is a gathering of eagles.
Maybe Chris said it was penguins.
Well, according to Google, it's eagles. Term originates from a whimsical 15th century list of collective nouns like the famous Book of St. Albans. Because of the eagle's majestic and authoritative reputation, they got the formal title of eagles, or of Congress. So that's where some of these crazy names came from. They do say that sometimes people refer to ravens that way too. We have a flamboyance of flamingos, a murder of crows, a parliament of owls. I didn't know that. And then maybe a congress of ravens. Or some people even just say murder of ravens. That can't be right. Eagles are pretty smart, aren't they? But Alexa says it's owls, and they're smart too. So Alexa says the Congress is owls. So one place says it is one thing, and one place says it's another. The sky just started rumbling over Chris's house. I thought it was going to rain here, but it's kind of cleared off now, and the sun has come out. Oh, guys, I appreciate everybody that made it in today. And I'm glad you sat through that all the way. I know that was kind of long and sometimes brutal. I wish the videos would work better. I think those videos, as long as you could see them, the main reason I put them in there was so you could see the birds feeding and how they fed and the unique ways that some of these birds operate, more than the sound. But the volume on most of the volume wasn't very high. Oh, no problem, Chris. Always, you're welcome, buddy. You're welcome anytime. And but the volume on some of those, I can't tell sometimes about the volume because my speakers on my computer here are not great, and that's why I'm wearing these earpieces right now so I can hear, to try to tell about, they were, it was, and I couldn't hear them well either, and I've got it turned up. So, but yeah, it was mostly about the visual part, and that's the main reason I put them in there. So, if everybody kind of got an idea of that, then that's what counts. Things you need to know. Oh, I just found a video that says things you need to know about curlews. I don't know who this guy is, but he's made a bunch of fact sheets about these different birds, apparently. It's called A Shot of Wildlife. I think I've seen his stuff before. Let me see real quick. I might post his link to this since it's pertinent. That is, if it works. Well, he's not from this country, so some of his stuff may be different than our stuff. But he may have some good information, so I'm going to post the link. What the heck? Oh, did Mark left? I didn't even see him go. I was looking at something else. I knew he was leaving. He told me yesterday. Am I frozen? Am I frozen for you guys, or can you see me moving around? Because apparently, no, there I am. But I'm also delayed. I seem to be frozen. Or it's skipping or something. Anyway, guys, uh, thanks for coming by. I hope everybody has a great weekend planned. If you don't, do so. I don't know. Some of you may be off on vacation. I will be here next week. Just goofing around. Probably we don't have any other plans. I think I'm going to have a special guest. Not positive, so I'm not going to say, but I think I am. And that should be fun. So if you will have questions, you know, once I introduce him, you'll know. I'm not going to say until I know he's going to be here. It's choppy on my end, so I'm not sure what's going on. I am really worried that I'm about to lose this computer. It's getting a little bit iffy. Carol's off to exchange their ancient phones. Oh, well, good luck on that. All right, guys, I'm going to say bye too then. And everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you for coming in. I love y'all. Really appreciate you being here, and I'll see you around the internet until we see you here next time. See you guys. Come back anytime, Chris.